Tech, and want to respond to the Microsoft commercials that are out today. Basically, the whole thing is, are you cool enough to buy a Mac or own a Mac? And you know, I kind of look at everything through a business perspective, and I gotta say, more and more business folks are starting to consider Apple Macs in their small business, and for a whole variety of different reasons. But if you haven't seen these new ads, basically there's two now out there. The first one features a young lady looking for a laptop. Her name is Lauren. She wants to spend under $1,000 for a laptop. She goes to an Apple store. She's looking for a laptop with a 17-inch screen and a real nice keyboard and this sort of thing. The only thing she finds for under $1,000 is the MacBook, the Apple MacBook with a 13-inch screen. She basically says, well, she'd have to double her budget. She just must not be cool enough to be a Mac user. The second ad features a young man named Gianpaolo. He's looking to spend $1,500 on a laptop. He goes and he looks at a Mac and says, well, you know, these are more about aesthetics than power. And so he ends up buying a Windows PC. But in both instances, they buy Windows PC. Now, in Lauren's case, she gets a HP DV7. And this machine is really the epitome, in my opinion, of not a very good Windows-based PC. It's got a pretty slow AMD mobile processor. It comes with Vista Home Basic. It comes loaded with a lot of crapware, trialware, all this sort of stuff. This is the same thing that I think drives a lot of Windows people perhaps to consider a Macintosh. So going with that, I think what Microsoft is really saying is two things. One, you know, price is the most important thing. And then secondly, that, you know, Macs tend to be for wealthy snobs that are into looks. And I gotta say, what's more important is what Microsoft is not saying in their advertising. One, they're not saying that, you know what, the Windows PC experience is going to be easier to use. They're not saying that Windows PCs don't ship with a lot of what I call crapware, trialware, and you gotta spend time configuring antivirus solutions, that sort of thing. They're not saying that, you know, Windows PCs come with a great media suite like the Apple iLife product, and they're not saying that, you know, peripherals don't really require installing and twiddling with drivers to make them work. And of course, they don't mention what a warm reception that Windows Vista has received on the market. Now look, there's basically three computer experiences that you can really have: the Windows computer experience, the Mac computer experience, and the Linux computer experience. Now, first off, let me say this: if price and hardware selection are your two main criteria, perhaps you'd be better off looking at a Linux-based PC. You're not going to be able to beat the price on the operating system, and it's compatible with a lot of hardware out there. But then there's the Windows PC experience, and it's, you know, it's not Microsoft's fault, but the manufacturers of a lot of PCs, the HPs and all these guys, tend to load them up with the crapware, trialware, all this sort of thing. Then there's the Mac computer experience, and when you talk to people, generally they all say the same thing. You know, getting that Mac, setting it up, getting on the internet with it, and doing some stuff with it was a fairly simple thing to do. Macs tend, I think, to be a little bit easier to get set up and get going on that out-of-the-box experience. Now, but you know, it's really based on what you're going to use the computer for. I don't buy computers because I think that, you know, this one's cooler than another. I buy them to do a particular job, and if they do that job well, I don't care if it's Mac, Linux, or Windows PC. And I think we all have to look at it from that perspective. But certainly Apple there's a reason why people choose Apple, and it's not because they cost a little bit more, because you can play with the math all day long. Well, you know, the Mac lasts longer, or Macs have a higher resale value when you go to sell one of them on the used market than a PC. you have to take a lot of variables into consideration on that. It's really what you're comfortable with, what you enjoy working with day in and day out, what gives you the least amount of trouble, trouble-free service, what's the easiest machine to troubleshoot, and what gets the job done. And there's where you got to make your final analysis. I think these new Windows PC ads are a big misnomer. I'm not a Mac fanboy, and certainly some of the Get a Mac ads I thought were stupid. But that's puffery, that's Madison Avenue, that's marketing. You have to make your own decision. Before you discount a Mac out based on hearsay or the fact that you think they're too expensive, check them out. Always take a look at the Apple Store. Look at the refurbished Macs. They're quite a good value. I think it's a matter of personal taste. Don't let advertising sway you one way or another. Both are viable platforms. Windows has its place. 90-95% of all business applications run on Windows. But you know what? These days are changing, and with software as a service, there's more and more applications now run on web browsers. They run quite nicely on a Mac. Things like Macs are now able to talk to Exchange Server. And so there you go. As far as the Linux experience, I have Ubuntu running on a laptop. I've got another Ubuntu server. Very reliable, very dependable. Probably not quite the same easy learning curve as a Windows PC, but that's really due to more experience with Windows. But it's certainly not bad, and maybe that's all you really need. Go with what you need and what's going to get the job done versus listening to all this stupid advertising on TV. That's my 2 cents. I think Macs in business can make a lot of sense over the long haul, and certainly worth looking at from a personal and business perspective. I'm Bruce Naylor, your Frugal Tech, and remember, if it's in your shop not making you money or saving you money, get it out of there and visit us at www.frugal, that's F-R-U-G-A-L brothers.com. Bruce Naylor, I'll talk to you later.